We're going to crank and get started in a few minutes. And we hope those of you that may be listening will enjoy this segment of our discussion and talk and teaching today. I am Pastor MJ Wade, and you are about to participate in listening to a study and a teaching I deal with on, I call it the elephant. I call it the elephant because elephants have a tendency to remember and not forget. They are a large mammal, and they also are very powerful in their work and delivery and life in the jungle or even in captivity. And I see from my perspective how powerful women are in relationships when it comes to man and woman, which is the God-ordained relationship that we see in Genesis chapter 2 and chapter 3 and chapter 4. There are a number of things that I want to cover today, but we'll do those around the subject of the elephant and communication. Why do women argue, fuss, fight with their man or their husband or significant other? And I put it that way because we talk and teach from relationships. So we're going to get started in a few minutes. I need to pick up something and I'm coming right back. But thank you for joining us, and we're going to get started in a moment. All right. I think we have allowed enough time for those who are interested to join us, and we are grateful and thankful to God for another day and privilege that we have to share with you, as Dr. Price used to say, the great general that's gone on to be with the Lord, to share with you the living word of God. I'll talk a little bit about the what and the why about women. All women are highly intelligent. All women are. All women are blessed by God to have sexual powers and influence in this world and earth realm that goes rather unmatched and unequaled by all except God. Your power, women, and that's why we talk at it from the elephant's perspective. Your power goes unmatched by nobody but God. Nobody can conquer you and overpower you except God. God is the only one, and we can look at society and life and see that. Without God's direct and divine power operating in a man's life, no man is any match to at any time for any woman. And that's been proven. We don't think so because the society has a man's mentality. But when you look at the power and ability and sometimes the destructiveness of women, and they don't have to be noted or popular, any woman can bring down any man given the chance. Women have this kind of power, and particularly a woman who knows who she is and the power and influence that she has and has the material skills on how to use them. And that is an area where we find most women, a number of women liking. They have the skills, they have the wherewithal, they have the ability, but they don't know how to use it and how to operate in it. And those things that they do use it in is always for selfish gains, and that don't last. Once self comes out, it no longer lasts. I don't care how fine you are, how pretty you are, what you have to offer. No man, no woman, no person like to live with anybody who's selfish and self-centered. And I say this, if God made anything better than a woman, then he kept it for himself. If God made anything better than a woman, he kept it for himself. I'm gonna say that one more time. If God made anything in this world better than a woman, he kept it for himself. He did not release it into life for mankind. God made no one more powerful and more influential in this world and on this earth than a woman. No one more powerful, no one more influential in this earth realm. If man is God's highest creation that he created, then the woman that he took the time to build her is the crown and jewel of his head, that is the head that of a man. The woman is the crown and jewel of a man. So if man is God's highest creation, the woman is that crown on the head of that man. She's that jewel on that man's head. So I go on to say, if man is a triple scoop of ice cream, then the woman is the cherry and the whipped cream on top. That's right. I said, if man is a triple scoop of ice cream, then the woman is the cherry and the whipped cream on top. If man is a good hot cup of coffee or a hot chocolate on a cold winter day, then the woman is the sugar and cream in his coffee, and she is the sugar and whipped cream in his hot chocolate. That's what we're talking about. Women are the apex, the crowning glory in man's life. And when we see it that way, we realize how powerful and influential a woman is. So that's why we're talking to you women, and that's why we're giving this lesson. But men can always benefit from knowing who you are and how powerful you are. I say if a man was a hot biscuit, then the woman would be the syrup or the molasses for you Southerners, for him to sop his biscuit in. So it becomes practical for us to see the relationship, but it helps us to understand how the relationship works when it comes to men and women coming together in relationship as man and woman together, or we look at it in the relationship of husband and wife and doing that. And it has its differences. The relationship is the same, but when the ground rules change, means that when you just come together and you don't come together in covenant with God and with your husband or with your man or with your wife, then God does not have the authority over it. So a lot of things that happen out of the flesh are not controllable. So we're more susceptible. It's like a person going outside without a raincoat on. You know you're gonna get wet. But if you have a raincoat on or umbrella, you can get some rain on you, but it protects you by and large. So the marriage covenant is the protection in the relationship for both the wife or a woman and the husband or the man. It's the protection that's there. And so when there's no covenant there, there is no protection. So you can't call on God to help you. You can call on him, but our calling must first be to acknowledge him, that he is God. And then we expect him to reward us. That's Hebrews 11:6, to be the reward of them that diligently seek him out. Just ask him to help us out and we don't get in covenant? No. So I'm showing you that when rules that we say, what we're saying applies, when it comes and it applies, it only applies when you apply what God said, because God is creator of marriage and the marital relationship. But there are relationships that God have not ordained, but the principles of what I'm going to say to you are the exact same. They work whether you're married or not. But it's harder to live by those relationships, those principles rather, when you're not married. And when you're married and don't understand them, you still can't live without them. Live by them. You still have the problem. So we're talking about why women fuss, argue, and fight with their man, and then how to stop that, how to deal with that in the proper relationship. Whatever a man is, God built the woman just for him, to help him, to complete him, to bring the best out of him, to make him better at what God called him to be and to do. The woman's job is to do that. She is not the coffee, but she's the cream in the coffee to make it better. She's not the hot chocolate, but she's the sugar, and she is the whipped cream to make it better. She is not the ice cream, but she's cherry and the whipped cream on top of the ice cream. And see, that's where we get confused. Women are not the ice cream. You're not the coffee. You're not, God didn't create that. Read the Bible. Now, you may think that on your own, but you're not that. And that's why a lot of times relationships go bad. It's not because you can't make it work. It's just your thinking. And not just yours, for all men too. You're thinking about how a relationship should go, that you're equal with the man that makes that work. Now, when God first created man and woman, they were, but woman was not taken out of man at that time. Because when God first created man, woman was in him. All mankind was in him. He took woman out of man, the rib, and made a woman so that that woman can connect with the man through penis and vagina, have the relationship and produce children. So that the men inside, the people inside, or the humans inside Adam could come out through the sperm and the egg of the woman. That's how that's done. That's the relationship. When you don't see it that way, you just go, well, I feel like I'm equal to him and I work hard and I do all this. That's true. And you can say that, but none of the mechanics of how things are to operate will operate properly in your life. Let me put it to you this way. You can go buy a car, a gasoline car, and you can own it, get the title to it. Now, the instructions call for gas to be put in it. But guess what? Because you own the car, you can fill that tank up with water. But you can't get mad because it don't run. You can't get mad because you put water in and it messes the engine up. Because the manufacturer tells you what to put in it to make it run. That's the relationship of gas with the car as opposed to water with the car. Who said that? The person that built the car, the manufacturer. And that's the way relationships are. When you operate a relationship of man and woman, God gives you instruction. He tells you it takes gas here, not water, not your opinion. God tells you how to operate. And if you want it to be successful, you can and will. Now, what I'm going to tell you today will work whether you're married or not. But it becomes harder for you to try to make it work when you don't follow the guidelines or have the help by God's word to make it happen. Because you have some good people, man and woman who come together. Don't make them bad. He can be hardworking, she can be hardworking and pretty or whatever like that. But if you don't follow the guidelines that God has set, then the relationship not going to work no matter how good you are. You can have a good carburetor and you have a good engine. But if that carburetor is not made to fit that engine, it ain't going to work. And that's what confuses us. Our lives have to be congruent. They have to be made to fit together when we get into relationship with a woman with a man or man with a woman. So that's when fussing comes in. That's where arguing comes in at. And that's why women argue and fuss. Because men see it one way and women see it another. When it comes to God and creation, women, that's all women are the bomb. You're the bomb. And see, you can't take away from that. You're not bad because your husband don't fuss or your man don't get along with you or you do this, that. God doesn't look at us after our sins. He looks at us after what he intended for us to be, though we failed through Adam. And so that's where I'm coming from you today. I'm going to show you that. But a lot of people don't know how to walk this out and receive that in that way because they don't know how to walk in the proper relationship with what God has said and what the man is trying to say, or time what the man is trying to say to the woman, but the woman's going to always be the controlling factor. In a relationship, it's going to always be the one who start the fuss and fight. Always. Every now and then a man will walk in and say something, but it's always a byproduct of what the woman has said or done. Always. The woman starts the argument. Because you can't settle for things being out of place or wrong, and you go about it the way you think it should be. That's why you fuss and fight. You figure, no, I ain't gonna live with this. I ain't gotta live with this. And a woman will go from room to room to room, following a man around, following her husband around, fussing. He said, well, I'm gonna walk out the house, whatever. She walks out the door right behind him. Why? Because a woman cannot let that go. I got another teaching on why women refuse to shut up or can't stop talking. Why they gotta be the last one to have or win the argument. Now today I want to show you how and teach you how not to argue, how to stop fussing and really live your life in peace. And it's not hard. God said, my yoke is easy and my burden of life. And you see, he says, if you come unto me, you'll find rest to your weary soul. And that soul, the mind and your will and intellect will find peace in doing that. So let me make this statement again. When it comes to God's creation, women and all women are the bomb. Women, you are the it. Now, if you let me put your shoes on, give you the 411 on this, then I guarantee you, whether you live by it or not, you would not have gotten on and listened to me in vain. You begin to learn exactly why I talk about the elephant and why you're strong like the elephant, and you can rule and you can reign, you can wreak havoc, or as big as you are, you can be as gentle and loving as anything and empower your man. Your man can use your strength to do great things, and you working with him and through him. If you ever seen any movie or been to Africa and seen it act, they get elephants to push over trees, to haul logs, to do so many tremendous things, but elephants can get in a rage and do great danger and destruction. And that's what we're seeing today in most relationships. Women can do serious danger. That's why a woman will win every argument that takes place. So we're going to talk about that today, but let me make these points and then we'll get started. And I'll try not to hold you too long, but I guarantee if you stick with me, you'll be blessed. You'll learn something, whether you do it or not, whether you obey it or not. You'll learn why you fussing. You'll learn how to stop, whether you want to stop or not. I want to tell you exactly why and why women operate the way they do, and help you see how to stop it and how you can live in peace, love, and happiness and joy with your man, hopefully with your husband in that sense. So I say, regardless of a woman's size, shape, color, looks, and feelings, a woman is the bomb. God built all women this way. So in order for her to be able to successfully do what she was created by God to do, then she needs to realize her position and how God created you. You need to realize, and that's why we're talking about the elephant. It's a magnificent mammal. I mean, it is one of the largest ones out there. And it can be very beautiful in its own flowing way when it's done right. And that's what you have, the ability you have as a woman. I want to bring that out. In her worst state, a state of being a woman, her worst state, a moment, bad hair day, all that stuff, you're going through that time of the month, whatever it is, in your worst state, when it seems like you're at your weakest point, you are stronger than any man. You got to realize that. When you bad off, ain't nothing going right. When you just wake up, say anything, do anything at all, you are much stronger than any man. Besides, you would have you think it is different, but look at the ability of women in the lives of great men, athletes, stars. Look at those lives. Stars who have wives of women that's unknown to them, but look at the destruction when it comes out in the news that they're able to do to that man because of that. So as we look at this and get started, we're going to talk about why women fuss, argue, and fight with their men and what the problem is in doing that. And we talk about it from the perspective of from the perspective of the elephant and what God is saying and doing. I'm going to show you a PowerPoint, and that's going to help us. That's going to help us cover what I believe will be the points that I need to make today in the lesson that I'm bringing out. I want to show you what I believe will be the point. If I can find it here, let me see. Yeah, I believe I got it. Let me see. Can I open that up? It's setting up now. I'm glad you're with me. I hope those that's joining us can kick in and see what we're talking about and how we are dealing with. We're talking about why women fuss and how they can stop fussing, arguing, and fighting with their man. The PowerPoint is setting up. Should be with us in a moment, hopefully. Yes, there we are. And I am right here in the corner. And I thank you for joining us as let's see, can this come up? I want to see, is it coming up? There we are. Now we're on. Everybody should see the elephant. And women, your beauty is that, but we're talking about the ability that you have as a woman. So we're talking about the elephant from this, and we're talking about why women argue, fuss, and have difficulty, confusion with their man or husband. So in life's relationship are always three basic views. In life, that means we say God created these. In life's relationship, there is always three views. You got to get this, because a lot of times women think that men see the same way they do, and men think no, or vice versa. It is not. Life has it. So I don't care how much you walk in agreement with your man or with your woman or wife or husband, there always is three views. You got to realize that. So in life's relationship, there are always three views. Remember that. There's not one, but there are three. So there is the man's or husband's view. Normally, this is the wrong view according to the world's wisdom. The first is the man's view or the husband's view. Normally, this is the wrong view according to, when you ask people the world, you ask for world wisdom, it seems like the man is way off on what he's saying. That's the man's view. Normally, the man is the one. That's why the disagreement. That's why you're fussing. That's why you're having arguments, because you are seeing the man has his view about it. So then we come to the woman's view or the wife's view. There is the woman's view or the wife's view. There is the woman's view or the wife's view. See, we already talked about the man's view. Now we're talking about the wife's view. Normally, this is the right view according to the world's wisdom. Listen, normally when men and women, husband and wife argue, the man has his view, but normally it seems by world wisdom that is the wrong view. Oh, he's wrong. And the wife's view normally seems, oh, he's right. And I use the example of a man says 2 + 2 = 6. And the woman says, no, 2 + 2 = 4. So in the world view, 2 + 2 = 4. But in man's view, what man sees, he's saying 2 + 2 = 6. So the man's view looks like it's wrong, but that's his view. The woman's view looks like it's right, and that's her view. But that's two of the views. I want to show you. I said there are three. And so then the third one is God's view. The third one is God's view. The third one is God's view. This is the miracle view. You got to catch it. See, we get religious and we talk in church and we talk Bible as if God has the woman's view or God has the man's view. If the woman goes to church all the time, I know God see it my way. No. That's why you're having confusion, because we think because God is on my side, he see it my way because 2 + 2 = 4. But that's according to the world. But the Bible clearly says God take the wisdom of this world, the foolish things of this world, to confound the wise. So we have the mistake of thinking just because in this world 2 + 2 = 4, when the man is seeing 2 + 2 = 6, that the man is wrong. So when we look at God's view, we think God always sets our side because the world is telling us 2 + 2 = 4. No, I'm here to tell you where the confusion is. The confusion is God has a view separate from yours, wives, women. God has a view separate from yours, men or husband. God has a total different view. You got to get it. There are three views, not two, not a correct view and a wrong view. In this society, there is a wrong view and a correct view, and both God is saying in his view are wrong. If you understand this, now you see why you argue and fuss, because you mean right. You're like Eve. When Eve gave Adam the fruit to eat of that tree, she wasn't trying to bring no harm. She didn't know any better. But she did bring harm because she got outside of God's order. You got to get that. Eve was not out to destroy Adam. She didn't have no vendetta. She was not out trying to kill him. She thought she was doing good by giving Adam the fruit, and she didn't realize God didn't say that she should eat of that tree. She didn't realize what she was doing in the process. And therefore, she was not able to understand God's view because Adam didn't tell her. So there's man's view, there's woman's view, and then there is God's view, which is the miracle view. Now, note I said the miracle view. Why? Because it's just like Samuel, correction. It's just like Abraham and when he had Isaac to kill him. Abraham never saw the ram in the bush because that's God's view. God knew the ram was there all along. God had to open Abraham's eyes to see the ram in the bush. That's what God has to do for husband and wife, for man and woman. He has to open your eyes so you can see his view. What did Elijah pray for Gehazi when they were surrounded by the Syrian army? And they got up and Gehazi said, my master, what shall we do? The Syrians are upon us. And the prophet got up, Elijah got up and looked out and says, oh man, all those thousands of Syrians out there. He says, oh man, he told his servant, he said, they that be with us are more than they that be with them. And I can imagine Gehazi looked around and says, is that right? He said, look at it, it's just two of us, it's 1,000 of them. But then the prophet prayed, God, open his eyes. That's what you want, women. You want God to open your eyes, not so God can agree with you, so you can agree with your husband, so you both can see what God's saying. You want to see God's view. You need God's view. We need God's view on whatever subject it is. And see, that's what comes up. So then, with God, it doesn't matter that the wife is right according to her thinking. It doesn't matter. God didn't care because you say 2 + 2 = 4. That's words wisdom. But we think so. We go to the carpet. We go to bat. Oh, I'm right. Because we can go to the bank, they'll tell us. We can go to school, they'll tell us. But what we don't do is go to the Bible. We don't go to the Bible and see that Eve was never supposed to give to Adam. Eve was never supposed to give to Adam. She was wrong. And you're never supposed to correct your husband. Yeah, if he's wrong, there's a process for correction. All right, you can take your children. You can tell your children something, and you can be wrong. But if they rise up to you the wrong way, well, mama, you don't know what you're talking about. They did that. You ain't mad no longer about them telling you because you were wrong. You mad now because they got a bad attitude. When we don't follow God's pattern, when we don't obey what God set out for us to do, we are wrong. Women are wrong in that. They think because I know 2 + 2 = 4, and I know that I ain't gonna go along with my man that says that. We don't realize how we've gotten outside of, you're right, but you're outside of God's order and being right. What God is looking for and waiting on is for the wife to come into agreement with her husband, period. That's what God wants. God doesn't care about 2 + 2 = 4 or 2 + 6 = 4. He doesn't care about that. Once the wife submits and humbles herself and come into agreement with her husband and obey him, that's what God is looking for. Then God will show up, and then God will, watch this, miraculously manifest to them his complete miracle answer that will give them the success and victory they need and are seeking now that they are flowing as one. This miracle answer is a miracle because neither one of them saw the answer before the wife came into agreement with her husband and became one flesh. That's where the problem is. See, we see the fault in the garden. Eve didn't know what she was doing. Timothy says, Paul writing, Timothy says, the woman was brought into transgression because she was the seed. Adam was not the seed, but yet she brought the downfall because she was. You can see today, ladies, so you can't keep going on. Well, I know 2 + 2 = 4. Yeah, but that's not what God is looking for. God wants you to agree with your husband. Yeah, I know we think that's hard because we walk by flesh or walk by our sight rather than by faith. That's the part on that. Now, look at this. God will always show us why we can't trust or why we can trust him. Let me go back and say that again. God will always show us. He'll show you and your man, or you wives and your husband. He'll always show you why y'all can trust him, why we can trust him. And during this same process, God will also show the wife the main reason why she should trust her husband. That's very important. Even when it looks like the husband is completely wrong. I'm going to say that again. God will always show us why we can trust him. And during the process, God will also show the wife the main reason why she should trust her husband, even when it looks like the husband is completely wrong. It is her agreeing with her husband that puts them on the same sheet of music that makes them what? One flesh, like Adam said in the garden in Genesis 2:24. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. They both were naked and not ashamed. Why? Because they were one. They were one flesh. And thus, she allows God, the wife or woman allows God to come into their relationship and do his thing. That's how God comes in. God will never come in because you out to say, well, I know 2 + 2 = 4. You do know that that's the world's knowledge. Now, I know we get bad about that and get mad because that's what we stick with. How many times have you done things right and things still went wrong? Why? Because you did it out of the proper order. If we do things right and it works right, then it works in our lives. And that's why we can't see why it goes wrong. That's the problem we're having with that. All right, let me move to this. Yes, we can trust God because he won't ever fail us nor let us down. Yeah, we can trust God because he won't ever fail us nor let us down. You can ask anybody that. God will show up, and not only he will show up, but God will show up on time. That is once the wife gets on the same sheet of music with her husband every time. That's what God is waiting on. He's not waiting on her to convince her husband to say 2 + 2 = 4. He never will. If a man gives up and agrees with her husband, a woman gives up and agrees with his wife, it's only because he don't want to fight because he cannot win the battle. Women are too strong and too powerful in that same vein. That's the problem, is getting there. So then, yes, when we trust God, because we can trust God because he won't ever fail us nor let us down. God will show up, and not only will he show up, God will show up on time. That is once the wife gets on the same sheet of music with her husband every time. Every time. Every time. God is waiting on you. That's why you got confusion. That's why you keep, because you're not on the same sheet of music. Women think they have to help their husband get on the same sheet of music. They got to correct them. God says he brings the correction. Somebody say, I don't understand that. Like on your job, you can't correct your supervisor. You may tell them they're wrong, but you got to watch how you say it. You can't go out there and correct the police, but the person over them can. And that's what God is saying. You're not in the position in this world after the fall. In this world after the fall, before the fall, they were equal in their responsibility. But after the fall, God said in Genesis 1:16, your husband shall rule over you. That's the law of the fallen world. So a woman's responsibility or a wife's responsibility is to get on the same sheet of music with your husband. If he says 2 + 2 = 6, what you got to do is say 2 + 2 = 6 so you can get on the same sheet of music. And then you'll see what God says, and he'll see he's wrong, and you'll see you're wrong. But as long as you say, I know 2 + 2, I don't care what you say, I'm going to go to my grade 2 + yeah, and then you go divide it, and you don't realize how divided you are, and Satan is using you. Just like he did Eve. And that's the problem we're having and facing today. So we need to understand that husband and wife must be on the same sheet of music. They both must see apples, and they both must compare apples with apples and not apples with pears or even with oranges. I'm going to say that again. Husband and wife must be on the same sheet of music. You got to be. Because if you're divided in discord, God would not have anything to do. And that's what the devil tries to do. You know, you see 2 + 2 = 4. But he's saying 2 + 2 = 6. So you the one got to get on the same sheet of music so God can take away the confusion, because he's not the author of confusion. God will not come into confusion. And so the wife has to settle it so there's no confusion so God can come in. Your agreement with your husband takes away the confusion. It doesn't make you wrong and him right. It gives God the door to come in so he can make things right. And that's how you stop this. So again, husband and wife must be on the same sheet of music. They both must see apples, and then they both must compare apples with apples and not apples with pears or even apples with oranges. Look at this. To do this, God says it is the woman who must agree with her husband first. Yeah. Somebody say, I don't understand why. Because the woman's supposed to walk in submission to her husband. That's why. Because a woman's supposed to walk in submission to her husband. That's why. So God tells a woman, people say, I don't know who to submit. But in Ephesians chapter 5, it tells us, yeah, they submit to one another, which means that they submit to the operation of obeying God. That's what that's talking about. They submit one to the other. That means they both submit to living out of the principles of what God says. They both agree to come to one sheet of music. Now, which sheet of music do they come to? The one that the husband has. So he comes in the next verse, says, wives, submit to your husband. She has a sheet of music. She says 2 + 2 = 4. He has a sheet of music. He says 2 + 2 = 6. So God says, wives, put down your 2 + 2 = 4 and get on his sheet with 2 + 2 = 6. Wives say, well, I know that's wrong. Yeah, but you're not doing it because of the math. You're doing it because you're being obedient to what God says. You're not doing it because of the math, 2 + 2 = 4. In this world, everybody know that's right. What you're doing is you're getting to obey God, and you're coming on the God sheet of music with man, and now God's going to step in and show both of y'all where you're wrong at and how to make it work. So you can play apples with apples, because as long as you oranges, as long as he's apple, you're going to never come together. If a man said, well, I'll just let you have your oranges, he's either going to give up the relationship or he's going to give out on the relationship. He's going to give it up and go get somebody else, or he's going to give out and just say, baby, whatever you want to do, do it. And that's why a lot of wives, your husband don't say nothing anymore. He got tired of arguing with you. That's why a lot of wives, your husband don't say nothing else anymore, because he's tired of arguing with you. Why? Why, Pastor MJ? Because he cannot win. You cannot get a win against a woman because you're too powerful. You have too much going on. People say, well, he just do that because he wants sex. No. Because even when you get an arrogant wife, a selfish wife, even that don't work anymore. But when you got a good harmonious relationship, it doesn't take that much sex, particularly as you get older. It doesn't take that much being intimate, because you're intimate and close all the time. And see, that's confusion. Marriage is made for more than sex. And then women are, I'm more than sexual object. I got a brain. Yeah. But the whole reason God created you was for use your body, your sexual instrument, to supply and strengthen your man, and then empower him to obey God. That's what was done for. To help him eat of the tree of life, obey God, and then to help him bear children. That's it. That's Genesis. You put everything else in that you want. But anything you put has to come under the authority of the husband. It has to come. So you always got to get on the same sheet of music with your husband. I'm going to push this. So this is my statement I've been making. The husband tells the wife that 2 + 2 = 6. Right. And then the wife tells the husband, no, honey, you're wrong. 2 + 2 = 4. In this world that she's right, he's wrong. That's why I say the husband view is always the one that's wrong. In society, it's always the one that's wrong. And that's why the wife follows the argument. And that's why the devil uses a woman the way he does. He wants us to argue because she really believes she's right. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to get to it and tell you why. So the husband tells the wife, baby, 2 + 2 = 6. This is where I'm going. And the wife says, no, honey, 2 + 2 = 4. And I'm not going to follow you. And God says, that's the problem. It's not the fact of the math. It's the fact that I'm not going to follow you. I'm not going to get on your sheet of music because I think you're wrong. Yeah. And that's why we fuss. And that's why women argue. And that's why relationships are falling apart today. The wife is correct according to man's thinking, but she's wrong in God's thought and ways. God says in Isaiah, my way is higher, my thoughts are higher. That's what God means. Your way say 2 + 2 = 4. God says, my way is to get on your same sheet of music with your husband. Forget what he's saying. Get on the same sheet of music, which means that you're going to say, okay, you say 2 + 2 = 6. I'm with you on this. Now let's go. You're saying let God handle it. Not let's live by 2 + 2 = 6 in this world. No, because you're going to fail, because if you're 2 + 2 = 4 and you follow and he followed you, your marriage still going to be messed up. Why? Because you're still not in God's order. You're not in God's order. Husband head, woman is the body. It is the wife's responsibility first to get on the same sheet of music with her husband. And first find out why he's saying 2 + 2 = 6. But see, he can't explain it to you. So when you get on the same sheet of music with your husband or with your man, God steps in and explains it to you. God helps you see, and God helps your husband see, or your man see. That's how that works. There's no more fuss and confusion there. You're not trying to straighten him out because you know 2 + 2 = 4. You know that. You argue with him because of that, but you don't realize while you argue with him, you're not on the same sheet of music, and you're trying to make him get on the same sheet of music, and you can't make him do that. You got power to do that, but your power is not to make him do right. Your power is to empower him, and he will do right. So when you empower him to do right, God will help him see what he's saying and what is the right way to do that. That's how it operates. Yeah, it is a wife's job to agree with her husband so that she can see what he sees first and foremost. I'm going to read that again. It is a wife's job to agree with her husband so she can see what he sees first and foremost. Even though it seems as though the husband is clearly wrong according to society and the world's wisdom. 2 + 2 = 4. The woman sees she's right. Women out there tell you, friends will tell you, doctor will tell you, oh yeah, you're right. 2 + 2 = 4. But no, that's not what God is after. God is looking for agreement. Forget the 2 + 2. When you fussing with your husband or you with your man, get in agreement with him so God can step in. People say, well, how can God step in if I agree with him and we ain't married? Do that. God will still allow you to see truth because truth is right whether you agree with God or not. The Egyptians and the world proved that. Even though they didn't have the law, Paul said in Romans 2, even though the Gentiles didn't have the law, because they acted like they had it and did what was right. He said, will not God honor that? When you set an agreement with your man, God will still honor you in that. And that's how men win. That's how you win your man. That's what Peter says in 1 Peter 3. You can win. You can't win him with words, but you can win him by your lifestyle, by your coming in agreement with it. Coming in agreement with him, getting on the same sheet of music. Stop arguing with him. Get on the same sheet of music. You say 2 + 2 = 6. Guess what, baby? 2 + 2 = 6. You tell all your friends, tell all your cousins. No, if my husband say 2 + 2 = 6, if my man say 2 + 2 = 6, is that I can't say that because I know that's wrong. Then keep on arguing. Then keep on fussing, and you go from man to man to man till you by yourself because you can't live with nobody. Because that's not what God designed relationship to work. Because it doesn't matter how right you are, if you're not walking agreement, ain't nothing gonna bring you together. Being right doesn't bring all the money you got. He may live off your money. He may run around on your money, but he ain't gonna live with you in unison with your money because he has to be in charge. That's the way God designed it. Listen to this. Yeah, their leaves as aprons. They had leaves as aprons. They're gonna dry up, and they did. They're gonna break up, and they did, and they're gonna leave them both exposed, which they were. What the wife must realize is they both need God to provide them with the answer, God's answer, not his answer. And that's what women are afraid of. Well, I'm going to agree with my husband. No, if God ain't going to agree with your husband. He wants you to agree with your husband so he can straighten you and your husband out, or you and your man out. He wants you to agree with your man first so he can straighten both of you out. No. And see, the world tell you that. Well, you going to go along with that man because there's more to it than 2 + 2 = 4. There's more to it. So then God provided the skin, which was Jesus, representative of Jesus Christ, to protect both of them. Why? Because the leaves wouldn't protect them. The sun come out, it's going to dry them up, they're going to crumble. And that's what life is. That's where our works are. Adam had leaves on too, y'all. So his answer was not correct as well. We missed that. Adam had leaves on too. So Adam wasn't the only one right, wasn't right. God had to give both of them skin. This was Eve's problem. She was so busy trying to correct what she thought was missing from her relationship with Adam. She had incomplete knowledge, and the serpent didn't help. The serpent used her to gain the advantage over Adam, and that's what the devil is using you for. He's using you, your 2 + 2 = 4, and I know that's right. He's using you to keep from being in agreement with your man, and therefore you're going to argue, and you ain't going to ever come, well, I know I'm right. Your husband walk around there, your man walk around there, he ain't said nothing. It's not because he agree. He just know he can't win. It's not because he agree, he knows he can't win. You're going to go from room to room. You're going to follow out. You're going to wear him out till so he just shuts up. That's why husband used to talk, man used to talk all the time when you first got together. He don't say nothing now. Why? Because he know he can't win over your voice because you're too powerful in what you're doing. That's how that operates. So you get used by the devil. Why? To keep people walking relationship together. You walk around mad because my husband just won't listen to me. I try to tell him all the time. He just won't listen to me. That's the problem. You trying to tell him rather than you praying and tell him, baby, seek God. You're trying to tell him rather you tell him, baby, you seek God. You give him sex, you love him, and you say, baby, you seek God. You may know the answer, but you tell him you seek God. If God told me the answer, you go to God and he'll tell you the answer. That's the way that's done. If God told me the answer, then God's big enough to tell you the answer. But I'm supposed I'd be a help me. God didn't help you to correct him. He didn't give you. Your help is not to correct your husband. Your help is to empower your man or your husband. Your power is not to correct him. You're not an eraser to correct him. You're to empower him with love, sex, and direction. Baby, seek God. Baby, seek God, and God will show you. When you get on that same, God will step in, not only show you him, your husband, but he also show both of y'all God's answer. And that's how you avoid the confusion that's going on in the world today. So let's look at this with the elephant, since I talked about him. I'm see, can I wrap this up? There are two views, y'all. There are two views of the same elephant. There are two views. Look at this. And that's why I got it up here. That's why I'm using the PowerPoint the way I am. There are two views of the same elephant. When the wife is not on the same sheet of music with her husband. When you're saying 2 + 2 = 4, and he started out saying 2 + 2 = 6, there are two views that's going on. You say 2 + 2 = 4, and you know you're right because the world agrees with you. He says 2 + 2 = 6. That is not right. It doesn't fit. It does not compute. But he's saying that. So there are two views. All right. So then let's look at this. See, the front view, you have the rear view and the front view. The front view is the husband's view. Please catch this. That's why I'm using the example of the elephant, because it describes you. The front view, your husband tell you, baby, you look good today. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, because you think about your poop stomach. You think about you don't have breasts, or you got too big a breasts, or you don't feel good about yourself, your face or whatever like that. You just think you said, see, you're not on the same view. You're not. So you're saying he's wrong because you don't feel from the inside like you look good. You don't feel well. So you tell him no, because you're waiting on a feeling to come, and feelings come and go, but a husband or a man sees differently. So the front view is the husband's view. He sees only the front view of the same elephant that the wife or woman sees. I say wife because it should be a relationship there. But the same thing is true with a woman. If you're not married to him and you got your man and y'all in a relationship together, you may be living together, whatever like that, even though you don't have the benefit of clergy, you're not married. You are coming together, but you're not married. But you still, man, that's why I teach this way. Men still got the front view, which people say is wrong. I don't care. My man just don't know. And no men really know. You may have a husband smart as whip, but I guarantee you, if what he's saying is right, what you're saying is right according to you. Yeah, but you're never going to come out and say 2 + 2 = 4. He said, yeah, 2 plus, but that's not going to come out until God first get y'all on the same sheet of music. So the front view is the husband view. He sees only the front view of the same elephant that the wife sees. But look at this. Let's see the second view. The rear view. When a woman has a view, you have the rear view. You got to realize that. The husband always sees first. Why do you say that, Pastor MJ? Because he's the head. He said the eyes are in the head. That's why God got it there. The vision for the home is in the head. As much as your hands and your feet are part of your body, they do not regulate your body. Neither the head. Well, you know, the neck turns the head. Yeah, anytime the neck doesn't agree with the head, it's called a stiff neck. And God say he hates stiff-necked women and stiff-necked people. Yeah, you need to get that right. Well, my husband's the head, but I'm the neck to turn. Yeah, if you stand there, I ain't gonna turn, that means your neck is stiff. That's not nothing to brag on. You got a stiff neck and you're stiff-necked and stout-hearted, and God doesn't like that. That's why you're having problems. So people, well, I'm the neck that turns the head. Yeah, you're supposed to turn when the head tells you to turn. If it does not, you slept the wrong way. You got a crook in your neck, and God calls it, in the Bible, read it, stiff-necked people. Stiff-necked. Stiff-necked. Got too many stiff-necked Christian women thinking they're right because they go to church, because they pray so all that time. But now, just because you the saved one and your husband is not, he's still the head. But how husband ain't say, you picked him. Nobody made you say I do it all. They have a gun at your head. Yeah, but I made a mistake. Then live with it. And God tells you how to live with it. You ain't got no excuse. Well, I'm going to get me a saved husband. God says, no, you're not. Because the fact is not in your husband. It's in you. So you get a saved husband, guess what? Y'all still going to have problems. Because you're going to ever get a man that's going to let you be head. You will never get a man that's going to let you be head. You may get a man that's head won't say nothing because he can't win with you. But you ain't going to ever get in a relationship where a man lets you be head and he be the body. No. He does not have to be the dominant one. He may be the one that cooks. He may be the one that stay home and take care of the kids, but he's still the head. You may be the pastor. Your husband may be a deacon or not in the church at all, but he's still the head. That's the way God made that in relationship. Because just because you pastor or missionary don't mean you the head over your husband. Doesn't mean that at all. But we got it twisted because I'm more holy. You can't be more holy when your holiness make you the head. No more you shout all over the church. If you're not the pastor of the church, you shout all over the church, talk in tongues, and you know Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. You still ain't the pastor. That's a position that God designed, like headship is. So that what you do don't qualify you to change what God has created. So you got to realize your view is always the real view, but it's the real view of the same elephant that your husband sees or your man sees. I'm about through. Now let's look at the crux of this, so I can drive this home and give this up. The entire view, y'all, of the elephant is God's view. The husband has the front view, which the world says is wrong. The wife has the rear view, which the world says is correct. Rear always sees from behind. The world works on hindsight. When a wife talks about something, she ain't talking to the future. She's talking about what I feel like is wrong. That's based upon past experience. That's based upon past experience. You ain't got no foresight. You can't see ahead. If you say 2 + 2 = 4, that's because it's already written. You don't see that how God is operating. Abraham never saw the ram in the bush till God opened his eyes. Gehazi couldn't see the army, the angels of the Lord, until God prayed and God opened up Gehazi's eyes. So God sees everything about the elephant. He knows what the couple needs to do together in order to solve their problem for that situation that they're facing. Yeah, what you're facing, it doesn't require 2 + 2 = 4. It doesn't require 2 + 2 = 6. What it requires is God's miracle answer. God sees the whole elephant. Your husband sees the front, or your man sees the front view. You see the rear view, but God sees the whole elephant. And you want God to give you why is it a miracle answer, Pastor MJ? It's the miracle answer because you never saw it before, but God, and that's how God works in relationship. No, that's why good marriages, good husband and wife relationship, they can't explain how they got there because they do it day by day, step by step. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. God got to order your steps. The song say, order my steps in your word. Order my steps in your word. That means you tell me day by day what to do. Give me this day, my daily bread. So you want to stop arguing and fussing? Always wives, if there's disagreement between you and your husband, or women, come in line with your husband. Come in line with your man. If he says 2 + 2 = 6, you tell yourself and everybody else, baby, tell all your children. Daddy say 2 + 2 = 6. And guess what? In this house, with my husband, my man, 2 + 2 = 6. And when you get in line like that, God will get into both of y'all lives, bring that relationship together, and God will show you what you need is the answer. Because 2 + 2 = 4 is not the answer. 2 + 2 that you need, 2 + 2 = 6 is not the answer. The reason God let the man say 2 + 2 = 6 is because he's waiting on you to get off of the world's knowledge, your hindsight, and get into his knowledge. And the only way you're going to get God's knowledge is to come in agreement with your man or your husband. The only way you're going to get God's knowledge is to come in agreement with your man or your husband. You can be all the church, all you want, to lay on the altar, pour oil on yourself. You can fast for 30 and 40 days. You will not get God's answer for your relationship until you get in agreement with your husband or with your man. That's what God requires. And looking at that. All right, I'm wrap this up with this last thing, I think. Eve would have never bothered the tree. Watch this. If Satan had not brought the subject up in the first place. Eve was not even thinking, it was a serpent. Genesis 3, it was a serpent that brought up the tree. Have God not said, you can't eat of any tree? He was just trying to find out what she knew and didn't know. When the devil tells you, or the enemy tells you 2 + 2 = 4, and your husband 2 + 3 = 6, the devil is showing you a way that's right, but it's not God's way. He wants you to stay divided. I'm helping somebody. Not everybody, because folk don't like what I'm saying. I know that, because the world don't go right with God's word. But when you go right with God's word, God gets you on the right path of life. If you listen to me today, God will bless you in doing that. Eve had questions, y'all, because of her lack of complete knowledge, but she wouldn't have bothered the tree. Satan sent Eve to the tree to supposedly answer her questions, to deal with her self-worth. Satan did that. And that's what Satan is trying to do. He wants you to keep on hollering out, and the world agrees with you. 2 + 2 = 4. I don't care what my man said. God says, yeah, you're right. But if you want to get right with me, your husband saying 2 + 2 = 6, get on the same sheet of music. See, folks say, I just can't do that. That's like some folks say, I just can't tithe. I ain't got the money. I don't see how. That's because you can't see. Because God doesn't go along with what the world says. God doesn't go. You walk around by Jesus' stripes, I'm healed. Though you're still sweating, your body's still aching, but yet you're claiming God's word. You're making that confession. You're calling those things that be not as though they were. That's what Abraham did, the father of faith. In Romans chapter 4, verse 17, you call those things. That's what God does. He called those things that be not as though they were. That's what God is waiting on you wives to do. Women, that's what God is waiting on you. If you want to stop the confusion, you can stop fussing in a moment. As soon as you find out you and your husband or you and your man is disagreement, shut up. And I got a series I did. Women talk too much and they talk too soon. You talk too much, tell all your business, say things you shouldn't say, and you talk too soon. You always get out ahead of your man and should wait and get in line with him. So we've dealt with the elephant today. Yep, that's right. We dealt with the elephant. And we told you how and why women argue and fuss with their man. But we also told you how to stop it and to walk in peace with your man and God. And God gives you the answer you need and want. God will give you that, and he'll allow you to have victory in that area if you trust God. If you trust God. If you trust God and let God lead you and show you how to agree with your man and whatever's going on, I believe God will bring the results you're looking for. And not only that, he'll give you much more than you ever thought you could get from trusting him and doing that. Father, I thank you for the word. I thank you for those who take the time to come and hear. I thank you for those who will hear this at a later time. And we pray your blessings upon the word and those who receive it. Empower those women who are hungry to stop arguing and fussing in relationship with their man or husband. Empower those husbands to understand their wives or their girlfriends or the women that they're in relationship with, that woman that they're in relationship with. Help them to see that the husband has the front view, that they as women have the rear view, but you as God has the whole view, which is a miracle view that they need, that we need in this life. And surely you said you would guide us with your eyes, and that if we walk in the light of your word, we have no need of stumbling. In Christ Jesus' name we pray. God bless you. God keep you in his ever-loving care. And we hope and trust to see you sometime in the near future. Amen. Be blessed of the Lord. And that's it. We out of here. And we love y'all, and look for our next lesson. I don't know whether we'll talk about why women like to have the last word. That's very important, ties up with this lesson. Or we're going to talk about the pleasure of sex in the relationship, not being galled, but the pleasure of sex in relationship. But if you have any question, hit me up. You can email me or you can text me or whatever way, or put it in the box online, and we'll be glad to answer you either personally by phone or whatever, or we'll answer in one of the lessons we teach. But until the next time, be blessed of God, and God loves you.